This is Michael Spedden, and welcome to Fowl Players Radio, your one-stop shop for all of your pop culture needs. We feature interviews from musicians, actors, comics, dancers, authors, and much, much more, up-and-coming artists and beloved favorites. We've got it all, people on stage, backstage, out front, and behind the scenes. Sit back and relax. Let's have some fun.
Hey, you guys, this is Gina Shock, drummer of the Go-Go's.
Snowman here.
Hey, Mary Jo Peel here.
Hi, this is Kathy Ladman.
Hi, this is Jay Nedry from the Road Dogs.
This is A.D. Adams, and you are tuned in to Fowl Players Radio with your host, Michael Spedden.
And welcome back to another episode of Fowl Players Radio. My name is Michael Spedden, and we are in season 11, and I'm never going to let this go. Tonight's guest is Skinz Skinzacos. He is a journeyman guitarist who's performed with many bands over the years, currently Race the Rat, the Methmatics-Harlan County Kings, A Crow's Eye, American Jet Set. We had a great time reminiscing about all the many Maryland, D.C. clubs we played in back in the late 80s and early 90s, such as the Rage, the 930 Club, the Paragon, many, many more of them. Links to all of Skin's bands and projects can be found in the show notes. The Fowl Players of Perryville are back in action, and we have shows coming on the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad, Maryland Party Boat, Fifth Company Brewing, and the Susky River Beverage Company, and others. Interested in seeing a show? Our website is fowlplayersofperryville.com. If you're interested in booking us, fowlplayersperryville@yahoo.com or 443-600-0446. Every Tuesday on 97underground.com. The Back of the Rack, the Michael Spedden Show from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Remember, download the free app at 97underground.com. And also, if you want to see archives of all of the interviews done on my show, youtube.com/@97underground Michael Spedden. They're all there. And also, we want to thank you for watching and listening to Fowl Players Radio. We appreciate your support. We appreciate you supporting our guests. Our main website is fowlplayersradio.com. Our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@fowlplayersradio. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Give us a fair review. Give us an honest review, whatever you think. And tell your friends. We really, appreciate your support. Also, remember our guests and their endeavors. Links in the show notes go to their books, their albums, their tickets to their shows, and everything else. Be sure to get out and support our guests. They're working hard, and you'll be helping them fulfill their dreams. So we will be back with Skins right after these words.
Hi, this is Bud Becker.
Hi, everybody. Dwight Weems from Gaz the Fun Band.
Hi, folks. This is Jay David.
Hey, this is Brian Damage from Kicks and Rhino Bucket.
Hi, this is Kim of Kim's Crypt.
Hello, my name is Gunhild Carling.
Hi, this is Paul Castiglia, and you're listening to Fowl Players Radio, the one-stop shop for all your pop culture needs.
And welcome again to season 11 of Fowl Players Radio. We've got 11 seasons. And today we have Skinz Skinzacos. Skinz is a journeyman musician. He's been playing around here and beyond for many, many years, many different bands. And there's too many of them to name here, so we'll let you name them as we kind of move along here. But we've been, kind of talking offline too, and it seems like we know a lot of the same people, played a lot of the same places, and so we've got a lot of talk about tonight. So welcome, Skins. It's good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I should have written some notes down about what bands I'm in, so I don't forget something.
Yeah, I know you're in so many. You forget. It's like it's like one of those people that has 30 grandchildren or something. You've got to, yeah.
And you rattle off. You're like, race the what? Wait, no, it's not that one.
Right. So you've been again playing in a lot of the. We were just kind of talking offline and everything. We played a lot of the same clubs. One that comes to mind here, and we probably both have a lot of stories from this place, is the Rage.
Yeah. Played there a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, us too. And you were with, now what bands were you with in that era?
Actually, I think, and I'm not entirely sure, but I think that City Fix may have been the first rock band to play the Rage.
Mhm.
This goes back to when this well, there was no stage. The area where the band set up was a like parquet dance floor.
Yes, yes.
And I think he had rock bands come in on a Wednesday night,
Mhm.
being managed by Jack Dean back then in those days. And Jack had us come in on, I think it was a Wednesday night, and you know, we were a flashy, glammy kind of rock band. We're up in the dressing room, and we get all done up in our thing with our eyeliner and all our, you know, leather and all that crap. And we come down and we get on the stage, and we look out, and there was an audience staring back at us that was expecting jazz night.
Yes, they used to have jazz night. I remember that.
And Steve, the owner, had switched jazz night to like punk rock night, but apparently didn't tell the audience. So
Mhm.
they just looked at us like we were aliens that had just landed from another planet.
Mhm.
We did our thing, you know. We had the smoke machines going. We did our show and rocked out and scared the crap out of a bunch of people. But you know, it ended up turning into a good thing at their age.
Yes, yeah, I remember when before they built the stage there, they actually had that, like you said, the parquet dance floor there that the bands would perform on, and they also had like those, like all the columns in the room had mirrors on them and everything too.
Yes.
And yeah, I guess that was the part of the dance motif there.
Yep.
And I don't remember what it was called. I guess before the Rage or before they started doing the rock and roll there, but that was such a fun place to play because everybody got a chance to play there. I mean, whether you lasted or not was a different story.
Yep.
But it was all. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, and Steve, the owner, was very accommodating. Like, you know, I remember playing there probably 4 times a month because he would give me 2 weekend shows. You know, sometimes maybe opening for a bigger band that was on the bill at that time on a weekend. But then he would say, hey, you know, I need you to come in on a Tuesday and maybe fill a Thursday. So, I mean, you could always count on the Rage to play 4 times a month, which, you know, if you're playing the Rage 4 times a month, and then you're playing the Paragon a couple of times a month, and the Network, and you know, AL Gators at the time, I mean, you could really kind of build your chops as a band and play a lot in 1 month. I think I remember one time I was almost out of my mind crazy because I was actually working a full-time job as well at the time, and I played 19 shows in 1 month.
Mm.
And yeah, I think I like forgot to bring gear, I think, to the last show. By the time I got to the last show, I was just like, where's my picks? Where's my guitar? I don't even know what I'm doing. But you know, you could actually get really good. You know, nowadays it takes a band a year and a half to play 19 shows, whereas you could 1 month back then, you know, and you could really hone the craft.
Yeah, I mean, one thing, and I've had a lot of folks on that played back in those days, that were part of that whole scene. And the one thing that people always say was that it was really a magical time,
It was
really a magical time. And there's really no way to describe it nowadays to younger people who weren't around back then. I mean, yes, we all wanted to be number one, but then it was also kind of almost like a Friars Club environment too.
Yeah, it was because we were bumping into each other everywhere. I mean, there were some bands that you kind of hated, but you were around them all the time. But then I have friendships that I formed back then that I still have today. Musicians, some still in the business, some not still in the business. But yeah, I mean, we were all just having a good time, just trying to play music and have a good time.
We really did have some good times back in those days. You were talking about one thing that has come up quite a bit too was that it was always a big deal, and this happened when we got the opportunity. Whenever somebody got an opportunity to play like at CBGB's or something like that, there was always like their last show before they would play was like a bon voyage party.
Yep.
And then there was always a car caravan or a charter bus or something going to New York.
Bus charters, yes. I
Yeah.
remember charters to the cat club and
Yep.
doing that whole thing. And the thing is the bus ride up to New York would be just complete mayhem and debauchery, and it was, people were so trashed by the time you even got to the show. It was
Yeah. Yeah, well, we didn't quite have the resources to get a bus. So what we ended up doing was getting a rider truck.
Oh, geez.
And we had about 15 or 20 people. You know, what we did is we got people who were like, hey, mind if we borrow your couch?
Oh, man.
And,
I've
you know,
actually done tours that were very similar to that.
yeah, and so we would borrow a bunch of people's couches. You know, we would pick them up. We would go in the house, get the couch with them, put them in the back of the truck. So then people had a place to sit while we rode up. So we had made a couple. Then when we would drop people off, we'd drop them off and then move the couch back into the house. And then we're driving up and you know, by the grace of God, we didn't, you know, get through the Lincoln Tunnel and then look in the back and see 20 dead people from carbon monoxide poisoning or anything, you know.
Yeah, we all did stupid stuff and somehow survived it. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, I guess we're the generation that survived jumping ramps on our bike and, you know, throwing rocks at each other and lawn darts and everything else. So why not, you know?
Just saying how somebody did something really stupid the other day. And I remembered the one time that I actually was on the roof of a van and I tried to jump from the roof of one moving van to the roof of another moving van and fell and broke my tooth in half.
Oh, you like that?
Van. I look back on some of this stuff and go, wow, how did I survive? Like,
I
that was
know.
just sheer.
Yeah, the rage was another thing that was really great about that was the place. It was almost like CBGB's to the point where it was like covered head to toe with flyers. And you know,
Yep.
finally Steve had to put his foot down and say, okay, you can put flyers here, you can put them here and here, and that's it. I don't want to see them anywhere else. And
Yep.
you know, and
Because you get
yep, I mean, they were always all over the place. And
Well, there was a battle going on because you would run out of room to have a flyer and you're like, I got a show coming up, damn it, you know, and you're like, well, I'm not, you know, I was always the kind of guy that was like, well, I'm not gonna tear somebody's flyer down, but I'm gonna put mine here so it covers most of your flyer.
right,
I'm
right. Yeah.
Like my
Well,
show's this weekend. Yours is like the weekend after that. You don't need a flyer up yet, you know.
right. Yeah, you can take mine down. Just let plenty of time to show yours. You know. I remember one time we took a black magic marker and we there was one band we took all their flyers. We drew afros on them, and they got all mad at us. But you know, and there were so many, and there were so many characters. Yeah. So many characters down there too. You know, people that were regulars that hung out there. You know, people you'd see all the time when you walked in. You know, makes you wonder what happened to some of them. You know, it's.
I remember Ricky that worked downstairs.
Yeah, little Ricky. Yep.
Steve. One night I was in the club. It was probably like around. It's probably almost 4 a.m. at that point, and Ricky comes in and is like, he had Steve's Corvette, and he comes in and he's like got this blank look on his face. I'm like, are you all right? And he's like, I just crashed Steve's Corvette. I'm like, well, how bad is it? And he's like, the whole front end is like sitting on the curb and the car's like down the street. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, hold on, let me go get Steve. So I go down to the office and I get Steve and he comes up. And I remember I thought this was like the coolest thing ever because when I told Steve that Ricky just crashed his Corvette and basically demolished it, and it was in two pieces down the street, the first thing he said was, are you okay? Like he wanted to make sure that Ricky was okay. He
Yeah.
didn't care about his Corvette. He was more worried about the guy that worked for him, that was like the bathroom attendant, which I thought was really cool.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I remember. I remember that incident too. I remember hearing about it. And yeah, that was that was towards it because you didn't see him for a while after that too, and then he came back. But I remember that incident happening. He had that silver Corvette.
yes,
I was like the Stingray. I remember that thing well.
whole front end was on the sidewalk. We got
Yeah.
street and saw it. It was like,
Mm.
wow.
Well,
But
lucky
nobody got hurt, so that was
that's the most important thing. That's the most important thing. Yeah, but that was a great place too. The Rage. So you were in City Fix at the time. And I do remember playing with you guys quite a bit. You had mentioned the Paragon too.
Yep. Did a lot of shows at the Paragon, loading up those freaking stairs. Oh my God. I don't know why every bass player on the planet decided that they wanted to have an 8x10 SVT cabinet. Those were so hard to get up those stairs. It was bad.
Yep.
But yeah, I was the stupid idiot that was also bringing 2 Marshall stacks to the show. So,
Mhm.
that was, and then years later, I played the Paragon and they went, you can load in the back.
Mhm.
There's a freaking back. Why didn't you tell us that 10 years ago?
Oh yeah.
'Cause there's
I
a back to the Paragon, but there's no back left in me, from lugging crap up those stairs.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
But
I mean,
yeah,
I lugged my Ampeg rig up those steps, and I think that was the club's way of making sure none of the bands drove drunk after the shows, because after loading your equipment up and down those steps and sweating like that, there was no way anybody
Yeah.
was going to have any alcohol anywhere left in their system.
No, and then put that brick wall in on the sidewalk, so you couldn't pull up on Route 1 and load out. You actually had to haul your gear around the corner, over by
Uh-huh.
where the Baskin Robbins was, and load over there on that side. So you had to, not only get it on that flight of stairs, but then you had to take it about a block and a half around the corner
I
and
know.
load out. Yeah, I don't know why we did that stuff. I still don't know why I do it now.
You're right. You're right. We got booked at the Rage and the Paragon at the same night once. There was a fella, he wanted to be a booker. And so all right, so we figured, all right, we'll try you out. So he got us into the Paragon and he says, oh, by the way, you're at the Rage that night too. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And we weren't first at the Paragon, we were like second. And it snowed. So,
God.
we loaded, and the thing is, like, there was a lot of people. It was a Friday or a Saturday night, I think it was. And there was like a lot of people hanging around on the sidewalk, and we were, how we looked, we had to carry our stuff down the steps with all these people around, load up, get out of there.
You had the club downstairs.
Yeah.
The Paragon, that was like a completely different audience. It was
Mhm.
like, so they were all like college Madonna followers,
Mhm.
In line. And then you had the rockers trying to like go in and out, mixing. So it was a weird dynamic. So you're kind of coming down with like a Marshall cabinet going, get out of my way. And there's like some girl with, a bow in her hair going, F you, hippie.
Yeah, I know. And then the bouncers were all like University of Maryland football players. To be like, hey, freak.
Yep. These 2 teeth right here.
Yep.
Compliments of University of Maryland.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, one of those jocks knocked them right out of my head.
Jeez, no kidding. No kidding. But we had to get to the Rage that night. And so I was driving up 295. We're in a van, it's snowing. The van is like, completely going sideways in both directions the whole way up. And we pulled into that alley, got behind the Rage, loaded our stuff in, and it was like 5 of 1. we just threw the stuff up, didn't do a sound check, just threw the stuff up, plugged in, and just started playing the set. And finally got it done, but they're like, they're not coming. They're like, well, we got it done, but geez, a whiz,
Pulling that alley in the back, and you load right in that door onto the stage, and I mean, it's a crazy obsession we have as musicians to do stuff like that.
Yep.
I've done crazy things like that as well. 2 shows in one day, moving stuff around, driving in a snowstorm, even though there's 3 people in the club and you just drove an hour and a half in a snowstorm to get there, but you're like, damn it, we're playing this show.
I know. It's like it's just that need that we have to, the show must go on, I guess.
Yep, we're have this crazy desire to play our music. Doesn't matter what it takes. I remember there was like a blizzard, I think of 96 or something like that. And I was playing in DC, and we drove down there, and the city hadn't really plowed. It was this crazy snowstorm. There was like 4 feet of snow on the snowbanks. And we brought a shovel with us so that we could shovel out a place to park and load in.
Yeah.
How bad do you want to play to do that?
I know. It's the truth.
Now I think I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm not going.
Right.
Yeah, we're going.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, what were we thinking? You think everybody else is coming out to see you on a night like this? No, they're home, where you belong, right?
Yeah, but in my mind, I thought like, the entire state was going to show up to see me play.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought. That's exactly what you do think. You think they're going to brave this. They're going to brave the storm. They're going to forge their way through waist deep snow to come see me play. No, they're not.
And then all of a sudden you realize there's not very many people that are as hardcore as this band.
Yeah. And you would think the clubs would have remembered that too, but it's like, they probably look at it as a night where you didn't draw,
Exactly. They're not like, hey, just take the night off because we're gonna close because there's a snowstorm. They're like, you better be here. We want a band on stage. We're open. And then there's basically them and 2 bartenders and like 1 crazy person that walked there. That's like, I have nothing else to do because my power was out or whatever.
I know.
I played the Rage to 1 person one night when I was in Rogue's Choir. There was 2 people. There was a guy at the back bar, and then there was a guy that was a little closer, and the guy at the back bar got up and walked out. And we were like, hey, where are you going? And he gave us the finger and went out the door. And then the other guy, he got up and tried to leave when that guy was leaving. And we are like, no, you're not going anywhere. Like, get up here. And we made him sit on a stool right in front of the stage. We bought him drinks, and we put on an entire show just for this one guy at the stage. And I had a blast. I still remember it to this day, and that was years ago. I mean, sometimes those shows are fun. You just remember them.
Did you ever do the Old Mill?
I never did the Old Mill. Nope.
Yeah, that place was a trip. He was a big heavy metal supporter too. He was this older fella, and it used to be a country bar, but he ended up doing metal shows there, and did a lot of 97 Underground shows there as well. You ever do the Midway?
Did the Midway? Yep, did the Midway. Oh man, so many. The Midway had that weird little like stairway that went down to the dressing room that was like really narrow and tight. And the one thing I remember about the Midway was I was playing there with Mommy I'm Scared, and we were playing a song that we had. I can't remember what the song was, but the drummer had a drumming intro beat that she went into, and I had a few beers that night. And when we were getting ready to start the song, I couldn't quite remember how I was supposed to start the song. So I actually started playing this other riff. And then the band came in, and we made up a song on the fly in front of an audience that sounded like we had produced it and we were like, holy crap, that was really cool. And then we had to figure out what we did at the next practice. And it ended up making the song ended up making it on the record Snow Cone by Mommy I'm Scared. It's called IEIEA. And it was just this crazy freak occurrence of just writing a song in front of an audience on the fly. When I think when you play a lot, like that band, we would rehearse a lot, we would play a lot of live shows, so we did a lot of things live, to just came spur of the moment, which a lot of bands don't have that opportunity now, especially when you get up in age. People don't have the time to rehearse or play a lot of shows. Like I was saying, playing 12 shows, 11 shows, 20 shows in 1 month, you start to get this, like, just this vibe within the band where sometimes we would listen to a song on the radio on the way to the show. And then just as a joke, I would start playing the riff to the song or something. And then the whole band would come in and we would play half the song and then stop. And we would all laugh like, oh, that was really funny. And then the audience would go, why'd you stop playing it? And we'd go, we're not a cover band. We were just joking around.
Right. That's true. And we did the Midway one night as Orange Seed Parade. And
I love the Orange Seed Parade.
well, thank you.
I did the Rage Nat got up on a cross that he hauled up on the stage.
Yes, we did. Fritz and I built that cross, and he still had that. What's that?
That was a memorable show. That was great. I always went to see you guys. I love you guys at the Rage.
Thanks. Yeah, we were quite a bit there. We did when we did the Midway, though. We should have had the Blues Brothers chicken wire up because they did not like us there.
It's a slightly different audience.
Yep. I mean, like, I know Mystic Force and Child's Play used to play there a lot too. They would always have like a night. I think it might have been Sundays or something when those guys would play there, like featured, because they would have them at Maxwell's on Wednesdays too.
I think I did Maxwell's on Thursdays. So back then when I was in City Fix, I was on the same management group as Child's Play. So we did a lot of shows as Child's Play. That's actually how City Fix got started. I don't know if you want to hear that.
Yeah.
So in City Fix, our bass player was dating a girl who was the twin sister of the girl who was dating the guitar player from Child's Play, Nikki. They're actually
sure, Nikki K, yeah.
And they're married now. It's Jen, his wife, and that's who he was dating back then. And so one night out of the blue, a band had canceled and he called and said, "Hey, do you guys want to open for us?" And I'd just been in City Fix maybe 3 or 4 months. I'd just come back from playing out in Austin, Texas, in a band called Kid Madman, and knew Anthony from. I was working at a record store, and he was taking lessons at a store next door, and we struck up a friendship. And he called me and said, "Hey, you want to be in my band?" We started writing original music right out of the bat. And Nick called one night and said, "Hey, our opener canceled. Do you guys want to open for us?" And we said, "Sure." We only had 5 songs, so 5 originals, no covers. We went, and I think it was at Zach's. Remember it turned into Jack's. It was the Copa down there in Virginia, and we got up and we played our 5 originals, and then we played the first 3 originals again at the back half of the set. Because that's all we had was 5 songs. So we played 5 songs, and then we played 3 of them twice. No one noticed because they were all original, and but that was our very first gig. And right after that, we signed with Jack Dean, and then we went out opening for Child's Play on several shows, which of course were always packed. So it wasn't very long after that we became a headliner, started headlining our own shows.
Yep. Child's Play. I'm from Dundalk, so I'm in their age group, so I knew them pretty well. I didn't go to the same school as them, but that was all the, I mean, you go out to see the show, it may as well have been a Dundalk High School reunion, because that was, it was following them around,
Still is. I mean, they're legends in this area, and they
Mhm,
played the show opening for Kix on Kix's final show.
mhm,
They do some reunions. I'm still in touch with a bunch of those guys as well.
mhm. Yeah, that they've been, yeah, I mean, yeah, they were just, huge around here for the longest time, really, had, the radio stations behind them, really, again, I'd go out there and I'd see, everybody I knew I grew up with, at their shows, that big of a following, that popular, and really started doing well when they were not even out of school yet, too. I mean, they were like, I think 10th or 11th grade playing hammerjacks and stuff, and
Yep.
playing a lot of youth shows, high school shows where, they would play it like at a school, like a dance or something like that. I saw them there a number of times too.
Yep.
Um,
We used to do so well, being on the same management company, we did I don't know if you remember the network.
oh yeah.
Something before it was the network, and then it became AL Gators. But we would play there on like a Saturday night headlining, and then we would do a Sunday matinee show, so we could leave all of our gear there, and then we do a Sunday matinee show for all ages, and all the kids would come in and play, and we got that through Child's Play. We would start opening for Child's Play at the network, doing the matinee shows, and then soon, not long after that, we were doing our own headlining shows at the network, and then at the matinee shows, the all ages shows, with the kids coming in. Those were great. We had a great time.
I remember seeing Child's Play open for Saxon there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And Hurricane, I think, was on the bill too. Robert Sarzo and Carlos Cavazzo's brother.
Yep, the brothers.
Yeah. Yep. I remember that band because I was there that night, and because Saxon played, and something happened to Saxon and they were real late or something. It was something got messed up with them. I think something happened to their bus or something, and they ended up getting there real late that night. And but that was another thing you could do when you were young. You could go there and stand in a bar from 8:30 until about midnight waiting for the band to come on, and you can't move or else you lose your spot, but you can't get a beer either because it's too far to get to the bar and get back and get your spot again, so you ended up just standing.
Yeah, I remember going to a lot of shows at Hammerjacks and playing a lot of shows at Hammerjacks. Boy, that was Hammerjacks, Bayou. Yeah, there was a really great group of clubs for bands to play and cut their teeth and get on big stages with big bands. It's hard to do that nowadays.
Did you ever do 930 Club?
I did do the 930 Club. I did the original 930 Club with my band Rogue Squire. Yeah, that was another crazy story. I had just left City Fix, probably a couple weeks or so before Rogue Squire approached me and asked me if I was interested in trying out for their band. And I said, sure. So he gave me a demo tape, a cassette, and then I went home and he said, can you come out tomorrow to audition? I said, well, that doesn't give me a lot of time to learn these songs, and they're all original, So I did it and went out and auditioned, and the next thing I know, they said, hey, our show that we need you to play is this Thursday at the 930 Club opening for the Slicky Boys, and it's sold out. And so I had less than a week to prepare for that show, a whole set of all original material that I'd never heard before. And and that was my first gig with Rogue Squire, was at the old 930 Club. And I curse every stage that has a pole in front of me. I hate that. But that night it was a godsend because I taped all of my like cheat sheets for the song to that pole.
Hey.
You know, and I was like, thank God there's a pole in front of me so I can see what I'm supposed to be playing.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, that came in handy that night, you know. But one thing we played there too, and the one thing that really struck me about that place is that we get down there and somebody met us. They showed us our dressing room. We're like, what dressing room?
Yeah.
And we're like, wow.
Well, there. Yep.
We went in there, and then there was a tray, like a tub full of Foster's oil cans.
A gray tub.
Yeah.
Gray tub with ice.
Yes.
Yes. We had 2 tubs. We had one that had mixers and one that had
Yes.
alcohol. And I was like, this place is awesome.
Yes. And food.
Yeah.
And they gave you, and they paid well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you mean you're not going to cry poverty at the end of the night? I mean, we're like, we love this place, tried to get in again, and the band broke up before we had an opportunity to, but I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah. I got treated that well at the Bayou as well. Like, even when we were opening for like a national, we would go into the Bayou and we would have our own dressing room. There were 2 big dressing rooms, like at Hammerjacks, there'd be 2 big dressing rooms, and you would have that gray tub with ice in it. With, I think at the Bayou we just asked for beer, so it was just all 2 tubs of beer. Same at Hammerjacks, but yeah, when we rolled into the 930 Club, and I think they had like orange juice and all kinds of stuff. With like a bottle of vodka. And I just thought, if we drink all this, we're not going to be able to play.
Yeah, yeah. And I think they gave us food too, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe some like lunch meats or something like that. But
I think there was like a deli tray.
Yeah. And I'm like, are we in the right room? Just like,
I remember at the 930 Club, I was standing in the alley in the back, and I was out there with a couple other musicians, and we were drinking beers, and there was these big rats that were going down the alley. Like these rats. And he threw a beer bottle at the rat, and then it missed, and then the rat turned around and started chasing us. And we were running up the alley, all cramming, trying to get in the back door of the 930 Club before this giant rat, like, I guess, was gonna kill us. I don't know what he was gonna do.
Yeah.
He was pissed off, man.
Yeah. There was another place. Did you ever do the 15-minute club?
I did do the 15-minute club.
Another cool place. And there was a 15th and K.
Yep.
Northwest, maybe.
Room, like in the back.
Yep. And when we played there, I just remember there being a big white wall that you played in front of, and there was no real light show. What they did is they had a projector and they played the movie The Fantastic Planet on the wall behind us. That movie that was always on It was always on Night Flight. It was like a science fiction cartoon animated movie.
I've played so many places. I do remember playing that place in the back. I can't remember hardly any details of playing that place. I think I played there with Murder Inc. Remember that band, Murder Inc?
Yeah, Murder Inc.
Joyce. Yep, I think I played there with Murder Inc. That's about all I remember about that show.
I walked out front because I left something. I think I left my tuner in the van, and went out front, and I'm looking, and every 10 feet was a hooker, and they were made up of the platform shoes, the fishnets, and they look. I thought I walked into like a 70s movie. And out there with them were pimps, and they were wearing like the big fur coats with the lapels, and they had hats with the big feathers sticking out of it.
They were doing the whole Huggy Bear.
Yeah, and I was looking around for, I thought maybe there were cameras out there filming something, and I was like, no, this is real. And then like a limo would pull up, 4 or 5 would get in, 4 or 5 would get out.
Yeah,
and I was like, this is real.
It was real. Yeah. drill. I remember I was in this one band. It was kind of weird. It was a band that I had been asked to audition for. I did, and then it was it was the first time I'd ever been in a band that was like financed by somebody.
Hmm.
So it had money. So I was getting paid just to even like show up for rehearsals. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. You know, it wasn't really my sort of music or whatever, but I'm like, I'm not gonna turn around getting paid. And we rehearsed in this place, like I think it was out in Tacoma Park, and it was this weird office kind of building that they had put these studios in, and the elevator was like really messed up. So when you would load gear in it, it would get stuck between floors, and you'd have to jump up and down to like get the cable to release and keep going back up. Again, I don't know how we survived any of this stuff.
I know. Well,
I remember one time the guy that showed up that owned the building like was in this big, huge stretch limo, and he gets out with like bodyguards and stuff.
hmm.
I'm like, what the hell's going on? They're like, this is one of his investments, but
Hmm.
he mainly like runs girls, like that was
Oh,
his thing. He was like a pimp
I
dad dude.
I see. I see. How
Invest in
about
real estate, smart.
yeah. Yeah. How about let me see what else was there back then. 9:30, 15-minute Paragon. We did a place called Club 118 in Gaithersburg. You ever did that one?
I did. It was actually in Germantown.
Germantown. Yeah, that's it.
It was in Germantown, and it was in the basement of a Mexican restaurant.
Yes.
Just talking to one of the guys from Tainted Saints. I don't know if you remember them. But
Yeah, I had them on the show and I'm playing their stuff. Yeah.
oh, sweet. I just bumped into them the other night at a show that I went to of some friends of mine, and we were just reminiscing about playing at Club 118 in that basement of the Mexican restaurant. Yeah, Rogue Squire played there quite a bit. Mommy
Okay.
Was Scared played there. Actually, Mommy Was Scared played there opening for Rogue Squire before I was actually playing in Mommy I'm Scared.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I knew Sean from Tainted Saints because we played with them quite a bit at the Rage.
Okay.
And so we knew each other, and I've had him on the podcast twice. Once a couple of years ago, and then now just recently. I mean, you heard the news on them, right?
I don't know that they just got their record deal kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Hmm.
Yep, then I did.
Yep. I had Sean and Richie Davis on. We're talking about Eonian Records and talking about the old days. And yeah, we had a great time talking to them. And I've been playing them on 97. And it's been going real well, They're going to be doing a show in June up here. So, yeah.
Yeah, I actually, so it was the strangest thing. I don't know if you want to get off topic, but I went to go see some friends of mine, Bob and Kinder and 51 Peg play at Zen West the other night. And yeah, they were there and I bumped into them. And yeah, it was like an old reminiscing kind of thing, and that came up playing Club 118.
Yep, Club 118, but that was a great place. There's another place we did called Julio's.
I don't think I ever did Julio's.
Yeah, that
Name, but I don't think I ever played there. God, there were so many there were so many like places we played, and some of them were kind of like one-offs, like you
yeah.
they'd try to have rock bands for a while and then it just wouldn't work out and they'd stop having rock bands and PA loading. That was back in the day too, when you would have to load a PA and light show, and you would show up with a 40-foot rider truck,
Yeah.
PA and lights, and load into like a Mexican restaurant and rock the shit out of that place.
I know.
Load it all out again at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was
Right.
nuts.
Yeah, that was it depended on the place because like it was like places like the Rage
Oh yeah,
would
good. He had a good PA and light show, but
yeah.
the regular clubs like that, the network, turned into ALGate. They had really good lights and sound. Of course, X had incredible lights and sound. But yeah, there was a lot of like pop up kind of clubs that I mean, I remember playing a restaurant in Olney that, like, you know, if you went in there at 6 o'clock, it was just a restaurant. If you went in there at 9:30 and you were trying to eat dinner, there was like somebody going like on the snare, sound checking the drums. And at 11, it was like full on freaking, rock mayhem. Uh, it was, yeah. Yeah, we put rock shows on everywhere back then.
Yeah, we did too quite a bit. There was a lot of. Did you ever do any of those like non-alcoholic, under like dry bar places? There was one that was actually called the Dry Bar, and then Kay's Music on Eastern Avenue had a nice room in the back.
I didn't. Our management was probably smart enough to not book us at a dry venue back then.
Yeah. Because well, they were for all ages is what it was. Like
Yeah,
Kay's Music.
Yeah, we did all. They did do some all age shows. Usually they were at like a regular type of venue, but just a matinee type show. Like I don't know if you remember on Route 1 in College Park, down the street from the Paragon, they'd opened a place called Tens. Do you remember Tens?
I remember the name, but I never played there.
Yeah, it was kind of competing with the Paragon for a while. We did a bunch of matinee shows there, and then would play like later that night. So, you'd load in at like noon and sound check, and then put a show on between like 2 and 4 or something like that, and then they'd load them out, and then you'd play a adult show that night at the club. Did a lot of those.
We did a couple at like Kay's Music was a music store right near Martin's Airport on Eastern Avenue, and we would play there. Once we played there with Euthanasia, who became the Martians.
Yeah. Yep. I actually still have a Euthanasia baseball cap. If I was in my house, I'd run and grab it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to do when I was in Mommy Was Scared, we did a bunch of shows with the Martians. Yeah, I love those guys. They were so much fun. God,
they were great. They were great. I still run into Cord once in a while. Good guy. And
yep.
And then there's then we played another night there. You remember the Cave Slags?
God, that name does sound familiar. I can't put a face to it, but I definitely remember the band name.
Sammy Prestiani from Rocks Magazine played guitar for him. And they were kind of like a you remember like late when the hair band thing started to kind of fall a little bit, everybody started playing funk bass. They were one of those bands.
Okay, yeah. There was a lot of those. Yeah, so that's one thing, like sort of through all that, I just kept playing the same music, and then all of a sudden, a lot of bands switched to jean shorts and combat boots and I mean, I just have always done what I do, and it's it might be a bad thing, I guess. I don't know, maybe not. But I always just play guitar and play the way I do, and I wear the same clothes that I've been wearing since I was, 14.
Yeah.
Which is probably bad, but it's just what I'm comfortable in. So yeah, I've never really followed fads and stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of people switched to. I remember going into Manny's. You remember Manny's in Rockville?
Yep.
Yep. I remember going into Manny's, and it was like every band in Manny's had like Doc Martens and jean shorts and was jumping up and down. And I'm like, yeah, just still wearing my jeans. Well, basically what I have on right now.
Right. Well, that was the thing. People stopped. It was like people stopped teasing their hair up. They would just let it grow out, and then they would grow goatees, and then wear Doc Martens, and they would wear like shorts with like tights under them almost. Like those like candy striped tights or something like that, and flannel shirts.
I mean, yeah, I never, that was a phase I never went through.
Yeah. I never got into the Seattle thing, I didn't, truthfully, I mean, I can understand at the time, the hairband thing was maybe getting a little tired, but the grunge thing came in, and I never got it. I just, for some reason, it just never got into it that much, and I really didn't think those bands were that good. Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and all them. I just,
Yeah, it was a weird time. And, at that point, like when I was in City Fix had started to, we went from being a just, rock band, just mayhem and leather pants and whatever. And then it started to get into patent leather.
mhm. Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not gonna do patent leather.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do patent leather, I've
Mhm.
got principles. And that's kind of when I went into Rogue Squire. And then Rogue Squire progressed into hard rock, sort of progressive rock, but not like progressive rock, but
Mhm.
just different kind of rock. And that's when the grunge thing came in. And so I don't know if we got sort of labeled with like the older glammy rock stuff because we had long hair, but we were never at all like that glam rock stuff.
No.
Sort of like we're in this weird area in between, which is sort of the same thing that happened to Bang Tango. I don't know if you remember Bang Tango, but they
Mhm.
weren't really a glam rock band either. They were playing like this cool fusiony funk rock stuff that
Mhm.
was reminiscent of like King's X back then.
Yep.
But all those bands that were in that in between, just everybody, all the record labels, and everybody just went, yeah, you're getting fleshed out with the glam stuff because we don't know how to deal with you. And this
Mhm.
grunge thing is what's taken over. But the funny thing is that like I'd met Jerry Cantrell's brother and was having a conversation with him, and he was telling me that like a year before Alice in Chains got signed and went on to become this grunge uh you know band, this mecca of grunge bands, they were like a glammy kind of like spandex wearing rock band. And
A lot of people were, yeah.
sort of like changed their clothes,
Mhm.
sort of the same sound, but back then it was sort of like, well, we're a rock band, um, but if we change into this outfit, now we're a grunge band. The
Mhm.
music changed, just the outfit kind of changed.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Very true. Very true. Yeah, and yeah, and then all of a sudden it was like guys that were wearing that stuff that not only changed and everything, change is fine, but then they started like belittling people that were still doing like shut up,
Yeah.
you know, shut up. That was you 6 months ago. Shut up.
Well, yeah. And I mean, so like I'm wearing a flannel shirt right now.
Hmm.
You see pictures of me when I was 8. I had a flannel shirt on because I
Hmm.
lived in Maine and it was fucking cold.
Hmm.
You wore flannel shirts like in the spring, in the summer, it was cold.
Hmm.
So flannel shirts have always been a part of my life.
Hmm.
Ripped jeans have always been a part of my life. And when I was in the glam scene, that didn't fit. And suddenly it fit with the grunge scene, but I didn't play grunge. So
Hmm.
it was kind of a weird time. It was like a weird time. And I remember a friend of mine said when he heard Pearl Jam, he goes, "This is just a fad. This will be gone." And I said, "No, I guarantee you, like 30 years from now, you'll still hear Pearl Jam because what they were putting out was sort of profound and it was part of this wave that you could tell was going to be a big wave. It
Hmm.
wa- you know, s- and just like the glam stuff, there were going to be bands that you just don't remember anymore,
Hmm.
like Tiger Tails and that kind of stuff. But then there were going to be bands that you still remember and are still playing, like Poison, and Poison is still playing and selling out stadiums. You know, on that stadium tour with Motley Crue, and Bret Michaels is still out packing the shit out of places. There's some bands that transcend that, and then there's others that get washed out in the laundry.
Yeah. Yep. Very true. Very true. You're right about that. You're right about that. But I just, like I said, they just never. A lot of things could be said about that. I mean, one thing that people say is that you pretty much develop your taste in music by the time you're 18, and you kind of get your mentality set and everything as to what you're going to like and what you're not going to like. And
yeah.
And since I was older than 18 when that stuff was coming out, maybe that has a part to do with it. I don't know, but I like I said, that stuff came out, and I just didn't, I just wasn't, particularly that impressed with it and everything. It's just
wasn't my favorite stuff. Yeah, that whole like 90s grunge thing is not my favorite stuff, but I appreciate it. And I especially started to appreciate Stone Temple Pilots.
yes.
Just there was one project I was in where and it ended up not coming to fruition, sort of luckily in a way, but one of the things that they wanted to do was some Stone Temple Pilots songs. And when I actually learned how to play Stone Temple Pilots songs the way that Stone Temple Pilots plays them, man, it's crazy. They are very jazz influenced, and a lot of their chord voicings are very jazzy. And I just saw Stone Temple Pilots in Key West about a month ago, and got to watch them play up close. But I've never seen a cover band or even a Stone Temple Pilots tribute band actually play the songs the right way.
Yeah.
They're hard to play. Like, it's hard. There's these crazy weird jazz chords and stuff that you got to jump from one to another. And most people take the shortcut. But I've seen Dean DeLeo, right? Play, and man, it's there. Yeah. It's a new appreciation. Not a huge fan of their music, but a huge fan of what they managed to do, which was to somehow create these super like heavy, hard, grungy songs with a lot of jazz voicings, jazz chord voicings, which is crazy. But yeah, so you get this appreciation, even though you don't necessarily I don't put them on my playlist like all the time, but
right.
You got to appreciate that stuff.
Oh yeah, it's respecting it and liking it are a lot of times two things. I can have a respect for what they do, and but not always something you'd see like you had mentioned in your playlist all the time. So yeah, so I mean, you're a busy guy, man. I mean, you've played in a lot of different groups over the years, and still today, you've got, I had just had you on 97 Underground talking about the Race the Rat album, Feel the Thunder, and there's others, that you're doing now. So tell us what you're up to as far as that goes now, too.
Well, currently I'm in five separate bands. Race the Rat's one of them. We've got Jeff Mortimer on drums and Matt Mayhem on bass, and Jeff Schirmer on vocals. Jeff is my writing partner in that band. It's all original. We write all the music. Getting ready to release some new stuff pretty soon here. We've got a bunch of new songs ready to go. We've got a gig at the Racehorse Tavern. I can't remember the date. It's in March. Friday night in March. I have to look at my calendar because I've got so much shit going on. I can't remember what's what, but it's late in March, like the 26th or 27th, something like that. So that'll be a fun show that we're doing. We've got 5 new songs, I think, that we're introducing that night that we're getting ready to record. I've also got a doom band that plays like heavier doom stoner music that will be doing a show at Henny Max in April. with the Odd Even. That's the last night of the Odd Evens tour. Odd Even is a band that I actually also was in at one point a few years back and did some tours with them. Knew those guys from the Tube Freaks, which I did some tours with them as well. And then I also play with the Methmatics, which is a group of guys that have been around the Baltimore music scene for a long time. And it will be Bobby Hammer's 50th birthday, if you can believe he made it to 50. That's an amazing feat. At the Fishhead Cantina on March 8th. Who else am I in?
I know. It's like,
yeah, so I got the Crow's Eye with the Odd Even, Race the Rat, the Mathematics, also in the Harlan County Kings. That's in a kind of a Americana, I guess, sound kind of band. Playing bass with them. And we've got a show, I think, coming up in May at the Rotunda, which is an outdoor show in Baltimore. Damn, I know I'm forgetting a band.
should I play some Jeopardy music while you think it over? Or
How many did I name so far?
you Race the Rat, the Mathematics, Harlan County Kings, and the Doom Band. You didn't. I don't think you said the name of the band.
Crow's Eye.
What is it?
The Crow's Eye.
Oh, okay.
Yep, that's the show at Henny Max with Odd Even.
Okay.
Oh my God, am I forgetting one? How many did I name?
4.
This is my life. Like I literally have to look at my calendar and figure out what songs do I have to learn today because I'm playing with this band tonight. It's Race Rat, Mathematics, Harlan County Kings, Crow's Eye, did I say Race Rat?
Yep.
Jesus. Hold on, I'm gonna pull up my calendar. Oh shit. The biggest one of them all, American Jet Set.
Oh, okay.
American Jet Set, holy crap. That's the band I've been traveling with all over the place.
Well, there you go. I just lost your picture, by the way, but
hold on. Let me see what I can do. Oh, am I back?
Yep, you're back. There you go.
Yeah, I can't believe I forgot that one.
Yep.
Yeah, that holy crap. Yeah, sometimes it's getting late. Yeah, we've got show at Morseburgers with Trickster. And then we're in the studio doing our next full-length album. And then I think we might have a show at the Talio Theater in April. Then we go back in the studio, work on the studio stuff. And then in June, we head back out west to play the Whiskey again with DeMalls and Pretty Boy Floyd.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah, we might. There's talk about getting us on the bill with both those bands the night before at Counts Vamped in Las Vegas. So hopefully that comes through. And then we are back out in August with Tough at the Whiskey. The Whiskey's kind of like the first time I played Hammerjacks, I was like, holy crap, this is holy ground. And I haven't had that same feeling again until I actually played the Whiskey the first time a couple years ago. And you just step on that stage and just think about all the people that have been there. Like I'm standing on the same spot that fucking Eddie Van Halen played,
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's like looking around when I did CBGBs, it was the same thing, that same kind of feeling, like, wow, it was like Dee Dee Ramone was right here, it's it's great, So
through the dog crap that's out front. I don't know if Hilly was there when he had these 2 dogs that would just crap all over the sidewalk or in the club, and people would step in it and it would get through the club. And one time I played CB's probably a dozen times, and one of the times I played there, I went to the bathroom, and the urinal had been just broken right off the wall. And they stuck a trash can with a sign taped to the wall that just said "piss here." Like, oh my God, the legendary, hallowed ground,
There was a movie out called CBGB, and it had Alan Rickman playing Hilly Crystal, and
casting. I didn't think
one of the slogans was 50,000 bands, one disgusting bathroom.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. I thought Alan Rickman was kind of a weird casting for Hilly, but
yeah, I saw him there one time, and I did see the dog that you were talking about. And I think the dog looked like he was on his last legs. I mean, he was just,
he had two, I think they were like Irish wolfhounds or something.
Yeah.
Kind of big dogs. He had two at one point. When you were there, the other one may have already passed or whatever, but they were getting up in age. But yeah, they would just, they were just hanging out and had to go to the bathroom. They would just go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I know. Well, we were there too. There was puke on the bar that hadn't been cleaned up for a couple of days too. So yeah, welcome to CBGBs, so well, Skinz,
legendary place,
absolutely. It's rock and roll. That just says it, rock and roll.
I'm super fortunate that I've been able in my life to not achieve much, but get to play some legendary clubs. Like I got to play CB's, I got to play the Brighton Bar, Hammerjacks, the Whiskey. I mean, I'm just, playing some of those legendary places is amazing, and haven't accomplished a hell of a lot, but at least I got that under my belt.
Wonderful. Absolutely. Well, Skinz, it's been a pleasure having you tonight. I really appreciate it. And I feel like, I mean, hell, we could probably talk until the cows come home in the morning, but, well, what we'll do is, like I said, come back anytime, if you'd like to come on again and,
love to
talk some more stories and everything, that'd be great. So Race the Rat, the Methmatics-Harlan County Kings, Occur as I, and
Crow's
American,
Eye.
What's that?
Crow's Eye.
Oh, Cur's Eye.
Crow's Eye. Yeah. Like
okay.
A crow's eye.
Oh, a crow's eye. Okay. A crow's eye and American Jet Set.
Yep.
So, boy, if your bandmates don't want to beat us up after this one,
Especially American Jet Set, but I can't even remember that one. Literally just had a Zoom call with him earlier today, but
oh boy. well, you remember him now, right? So that's the main thing. And you'll show up for the show. That's the main thing too, right? So
always there. I always show up.
Great.
I mostly know the song, so that's good.
Excellent. Well, again, folks, Skinz Skinzacos was here tonight to tell us some great rock and roll stories, to reminisce about the clubs. And, again, I really enjoyed having you tonight. I appreciate you taking the time to come talk to us. And we'll put links to all of your bands and all your endeavors in the show notes.
Awesome.
And, we'll put that there so people can find out all about your endeavors. So thanks again. And thank you all for listening. And we'll see you all next time. And thanks again for tuning in to Fowl Players Radio tonight. I had a great interview with Skinz Skinzacos, a journeyman guitarist, played with a lot of bands. We had a great time talking about the clubs we played in, the people we've remembered, and just an enjoyable episode. And as you probably could tell, we could have gone on for days and days and days just remembering this stuff. Had a great time. His links to all of his bands and all of his endeavors are in the show notes. Definitely check those out. Remember, the Fowl Players of Perryville back in action doing murder mysteries this year. We've got Fifth Company Brewing. We got the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad, Susky River Beverage Company, and Maryland Party Boat. Our website is fowlplayersofperryville.com. Also, if you'd like to book us, fowlplayersperryville@yahoo.com or 443-600-0446. Check me out every Tuesday, 4 to 6 p.m. on 97 Underground, the Back of the Rack, the Michael Spedden Show. Remember to download our free app and also our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@97 Underground, Michael Spedden. And remember, we thank you again for watching and listening. Foulplayersradio.com and youtube.com/@foulplayersradio. Please hit that like and subscribe button and leave an honest review. Until next time, this is Michael Spedden signing off.